Hey Guff Gang, and welcome back to a Path of Exile video. I know I keep saying it's the last one before League start, but I have been playing around with my version of Pohx's Righteous Fire build. All kudos, credit to Pohx. I'll link his big RF FAQ down the bottom and his Twitch channel down the bottom as well in the description. I'm in love with RF now. It's amazing. What I've done with the build, I have changed the build I put out the other day. I've taken what I've learned from constantly watching Pohx over the last couple of days, plus some POBing, and yeah, the thing I will start off by saying is, so far this build has cost me about 60x, excluding the Headhunter belt, which I already had in standard. There's no legacy gear on this character. The only thing I've put on here that isn't included in that price is the Headhunter. So add the price onto Headhunter, you're probably looking at about 200x, depending on the cost of the Headhunter in which particular league you're playing. So let's have a look at the gear. Don't worry about the second weapon, that is just I'll show you. It's a 6 white socket unironic light I picked up for 30C, and it's got gems in there. I'm leveling for my gem collection. Nothing important. Let me just clear these off, we don't want those. Weapon swap back. Turn on the buffs. There we go, and let's pop Righteous Fire back on. There we go. Okay, so that's that out of the way. There's a Headhunter with the skin. It's not been divined particularly well. Well, the dex is pants, but other than that, max implicit and with the attribute modifiers. So that's that out of the way. We've got a Legacy of Fury, 20% quality. It's got the max roll, chance when you kill a scorched enemy. Everything else is, kind of irrelevant. It's not been enchanted. I haven't got around to doing that yet, and I kind of run out of money / currency within Arch Nemesis League to buy some, and I could buy one with an enchant, but I'm guessing with the standard league inflation it's going to be expensive, so these boots will do. I'm not putting a POB out for this one because this is not a league start build. It is a addition to Pohx's Righteous Fire build. I know he's going to be putting one out with, or he's got a POB in his FAQ below about an Aegis Auroa Melding of the Flesh build. This build's on top of that. So let's have a look. In the boots, we're carrying around our Frostblink. There should be a Divergent Frostblink. As you can see, I'm out of X. A Divergent Frostblink in standard is around 10x, which, as you can see, I don't have. Flammability, Hex Touch support, and Life Tap. It's got to be a level 1, so we proc Life Tap buff with our Frostblink. All I did was buy a level 1 Life Tap from Lily, and then I slapped it with 20 GCPs because I had a ton of them. That's that done. Onto the gloves. We've got to make sure we are using the influence currency, so we want the inflict fire exposure on hit, and I went for the fire damage over time multiplier. So they're on the gloves. These are just res gloves to cover whatever res you need, plus dex, plus life, and then as you can see, crafted AoE and 10% increased AoE. And in here we stick our first bunch of auras. Yes, I said first bunch of auras. We end up with a 21 Purity of Ice quality. Ideally it would be a 2120 minimum. I just haven't got around to buying a 2120 because, again, money. We've got Anomalous Purity of Elements that I'm leveling up. Ideally that would be a 2020 Anomalous Purity of Elements. We've got our Determination here, which would be anomalous as well, but they're very expensive. And we have a level 4 Enlighten. It must be a level 4 Enlighten. You can see here by our mana we have 9 mana left, so it's got to be a level 4. In our Aegis Auroa, this is a 30% quality one. We are looking for a high roll on the armor evasion roll. The elemental damage with attack skills is irrelevant. Our fire trap doesn't class as an attack skill, and nor does righteous fire, so that is completely irrelevant. I didn't realise that at the time I brought this one, so yeah, I need to throw some divines on it and get that armor and energy shield up. In here we are running our Herald of Ash, 2020 Herald of Ash, 2020 Tempest Shield. That should be a Divergent Tempest Shield, but again they're expensive, and a 520 Awakened Increased Area of Effect. That's our shield. In our very badly rolled Scepter, we are looking at a 2020 Malevolence. Anomalous and Malevolence would be the BIS, with max 2020 life tap and a 2020 Anomalous Divine Blessing support. That's our Scepter. Now, going off of Pohx's new guide for 3.1, where are we, 8? Yeah, 3.18, Sentinel League. We run our fire trap in our helm now, so we've got a fire trap, we've got a life tap, we have Awakened Swift Affliction, which should be a 520, and a 2020 trap and mind damage in the helm, which has got Purity of Elements mana reservation, supported by burning damage and elemental damage. I got lucky. I brought this helm with the enchant on it from trade. I scoured it, I 20% qualityed it, and I threw one Essence and Horror, and bang, I hit that. So I'm really glad I lucked out on that one. We've got our standard Ashes of the Stars. 20% increased reservation of skills is a must. So is the max roll of attributes with the attributes catalyst, so that is an onyx, so 16, and then 20% to gain the +3, allocated with charisma. I'll go through the tree in a moment. On to our armour. So our armour is a 6-link Saintly Chainmail, which and I got those rolls by spamming a ton of fossils. And I didn't hit what I wanted. I got some very nice high fire res. Just close that down. I keep forgetting to turn that off. I got a very nice. I got a T1 fire res, T1 chaos res, 8 life. So I had to roll over that, and I didn't hit anything else with the fossils. So I then went to essences, and eventually I procced that, which you can see on the screen. And I know Pohx says you should go for the 10% energy shield from max life, or whichever that is, but for this version of the build we have to have the increased life and increased mana. As you can see, again, without that increased mana you can't hit it what you need. And in this version there we are then running our Righteous Fire 6-linked. You've got to have the Malevolence 20% increased aura effect, and you can either go for +2 max res, max cold res. I've gone for, well, I didn't hit that. I was running low on influence currency, and I hit the +1 to all max res, so I'd stopped there. We've got our Righteous Fire, a 2020, not Val. Val isn't needed unless you're running big bosses and uber bosses, and then I'm just copying what Pohx has said. Unless you're running the big uber bosses, you don't need Val Righteous Fire. And the amount of times I died from activating Val Righteous Fire, then I'd hit my life flask, but in that split second a mob would hit me and I'd die. So I sold my Val Righteous Fire and brought a 2020 Righteous Fire. We've then got Awakened Early Focus, so that would be a 520. We've got our Awakened Swift Affliction, again that should be a 520. We've got our Awakened Increased Area of Effect at 5. We've got a Life Tap, which should be 2020, and we've got Awakened Burning Damage, which should also be 520. So that's our chest. I've specifically stayed away from the rings, and here as you can see, there are 2 unset rings. So on the ring, both the ring rings are doing the same thing. You are looking for any attributes you need, high life, regen, and resists. It's a lot to ask for, but that's ideally what we're looking for. If you can hit all of that, or you don't need some of that, then you're looking for +1 endurance / frenzy charges as a craft. So it depends what your budget's like and depends what you can find. I then would also slap them with either a resistance or a life, depending on what you need. In one of them, we have our Defiance banner, a 2020 Defiance banner, preferably anomalous, but they're expensive. And in the other one, we're running anomalous summon skitterbots, which is again 2020. So that's all the gear, that's all the gems. On to the flasks. We are running a Quicksilver flask. Now, all of the flasks should be flaglants. Don't look at the prefixes of my flask. They should all be flaglants or gain X charges, preferably gain 7. But you get what you roll. Again, depends on your currency. So that one is rolled really well. The only thing we are missing is, we're missing T1 speed. So it's T2, which is, it's fine. I'm not that bothered. The Ruby Flask is where I put my Regenerate 3 life. That is an unveiled craft, but it is required, and I've just put it on my Ruby Flasks because to me it makes sense. On our Granite Flask, I've got the immunity to poison because we're ailment immune due to purity of elements, so we don't need any suffixes for burn, ignite, etc. In fact, ignite would turn off RRF, so we don't really want that. Wow, this person is logging off and on a lot. And on our silver flask, I got flaglants, and then it was whatever came up. Got hit it with an org and got increased armor. It'll do. There's not much else. Ideally, that should be reduced effective curses. But we hit armor and I was happy with that. Oh, let me just turn that off. Where's the options for that? Gee whiz. It's bugging the pants off of me. Notifications. Those two. And that one. There we go. Sorry about that, people. Right, where were we? No. So, flasks. Yep. Ideally, that would be reduced effect class curses. Then on our Eternal Flask, again, it would be gain 7, and then the high level bleed. 300 orbs of alteration down, and that is the best I hit. I also used 12 orbs of null. Every time I hit 7, gain 7 charges with a bad suffix. I'd annul the thing and hope, but I went through 12 annulls, over 300 orbs of alts, and about 500 orgs, and this is the best I came up with. The current system for rolling flasks is absolutely abominable. I will be sending an email to Chris Wilson at GGG asking him why they haven't allowed us to beastcraft based on the eye level of the beasts and the flasks. Currently you can only get the lowest level, which is, I think, is wrong. You should be able to get the highest level if you're killing the beasts of the high level and you have a high level flask. It just makes sense. Whether they see it that way or not, I don't know. So that's the flask, the gear, the gems. MTX wise, just because we've got the purple skull helm, the infernal body armor, malice cloak, insatiable malice gloves, the insatiable malice boots, the bloodthirsty headhunter skin from the battle pass in Arch Nemesis, which you can no longer get, annihilator weapon effect, and the dragon hunter sword with the Aegis Aurora shield effect, and finally the Imperator apparition portal. No gem cosmetics as of yet. So that's all of that. Now let's look at the tree. We are very, very points heavy here. So we come through here and then up through Sanctity to Discipline and Training to Retribution to Amplify. And we're coming down here for Glancing Blows, so we at least get block attack, max block. I think we're almost spell block. Let's find out. Oh, yep, we are spell block and block attack, but that is with Glancing Blows. So if you do block, you're going to be taking some damage, but you know, it's still block. We've got Tireless, and then we come down here for Arsonist and 40% of physical damage converted to fire. We come through here, we get Hearty, we pick up Barbarism, we pick up this dual socket where our Melding of the Flesh sits. I'm trying to get that rolled, the implicit rolled, and so far it hasn't happened. Just random RNG. We get Juggernaut, so we can pick up the Determination Mana Res. I'll come back to the class of jewels in a minute. We pick up Divine Shield. We pick up Devotion. We pick up the Bala Brutal Restraint Gem for our decks because it's everywhere is decks. Yeah, it's all decks. This one's got 4% increased max life, and as you saw there, minions have 15% increased movement speed, which do affect our skitterbots. So that's that. So we also take, obviously you've seen their Divine Judgment with 40% increase of non-damaging elements. We come up, we take the full Sovereignty Wheel with Mana Reservation. We take Purity of Flesh and the two nodes to the left with 10% increased max life with reduced recovery rate. We take Holy Fire with plus 25 dot, minus 30 fire res. We come through here, we take Arcane Guarding. We take Cruel Prep and the 6% life node. We take Breath of Flames with Fire Exposure Inflicts an additional minus 5. We come down here for our Transcendent Mind, implicit with increased movement speed. We come this way round for the Mana Reservation on our Herald of Ash, plus 8% increased damage for each Aura / Herald skill affecting you. So that's all that, and then we'll come down to our class jewel. Now this took a lot of tinkering. We go for Prismatic Heart, Widespread Destruction, and Sadist is the wrong one. Now this particular build isn't in the POB, but I'm pretty sure it has the correct nodes. Yes, we should have Burning Bright. Prismatic Heart, Widespread Destruction, and Burning Bright rather than Sadist. That's a slight incorrect there. We do pick up all three of the nodes. So that's that. We come through here. Now a lot of people go for burning damage or other things. I prefer going for the AoE. So we pick up an AoE gem with regen life, and we take Powerful Assault, which is 20% area damage plus 10% chance knockback. The second part of that is irrelevant. We don't actually hit, but we do get the increased area damage. So I've just got a quick message on my phone. And on the other side, we take Towering Threat, which is the increased life and increased AoE. And up here, we've got the Conqueror's Efficiency. Again, we need that for the Mana Reservation. Without that, we can't run the build. It's that simple. And then down for our other medium cluster, we take again Powerful Assault and Towering Threat. So again, that area damage plus knockback, which won't ever happen because none of our skills hit. And then we've got Towering Threat, which is increased life and AoE. This was where a Watcher's Eye jewel would sit in this socket, but I didn't have the correct Watcher's Eye. The correct Watcher's Eye would be expensive, so I've sacrificed that for this 3 passive skill increased Mana Reservation skill gem with the 25% increased effect. Now ideally that would be 35% increase. I rolled this myself. I couldn't find one on trade that I wanted, so I didn't get it. So we've got there you go. Because it's got the increased effect, you've got 7% mana res, 7% mana res, and then the Purity of Ice plus Dex plus Blind. So yeah, that's the cluster dual setup. We are missing a few nodes because we've had to sacrifice some to get that mana res gem in. Mainly knife nodes, so we're no longer on 5.5k life, which is a shame. But that's a sacrifice you made to fit in the skitterbots. The skitterbots are doing a healthy amount of damage, something like 30 to 40k DPS. So I didn't really want to say no to that, and it took a lot of tinkering to figure out how to fit it in without being level 100. At level 100, on the current gear, you're on about 6k life easily, and then what we would do is with the extra skill points, we move the 3-point. We move either the 3-point cluster or the Watcher's Eye, and then that goes up here. So you go 1, 2, 3, and then put in your Watcher's Eye up there, or you could move the 3-point cluster and have the Watchers down the other. Depends which way you want to do it. But it's the cheapest way to do it. We have no more 2-point jewels. They're all 4s. So, but that's a 3, and it gives elemental damage. These two give extra elemental damage. Not a great deal, but still. And then you can go in there and put your Watcher's Eye in there. We're picking up life nodes, life regen, or whatever else you need. So that's the build. As I said, I'm not putting out a POB for this because there isn't one, and there's a lot of things that are open to interpretation, a lot of things you can change. Ideally, this would be wearing an explode chest and a synth-based explode scepter. Then rolling the explode chest to, or making sure you're res capped. Because we're using Melding our flesh, our resistances are quite difficult to manage because of the gear we have. We're using the Headhunter, which does work and is amazing. I've done a few Deli maps earlier today and it went amazingly well. It's absolutely brilliant. I finally found a build that I actually like using a Headhunter with after all these years. So yeah, it's great fun to use a Headhunter, but obviously then we are lacking in resist that you would get with a Styge. You don't use corrupted soul replica soul tether because we're using Aegis Auroa and Melding of the Flesh. So normally you would thwack an Elder Influence Styge belt there with life recovery / max life and a lot of res. So we'll give that up for the Headhunter. Not sure how it's going to work with the new modifiers from the Nemesis and the way that GGG decided to do them. But yeah, we'll see how that works once 3.18 goes live. I'm just trying to think what else there is to say really. Yeah, as you see, it was quite difficult for me to get the res based on what I needed. Like the unset rings were quite a pain to try and get because of the stat requirements plus the res. Trying to get a plus chaos resistance without the plus 40 from the Watcher's Eye roll that's in the POBs, or at least my version of the POB. That was really difficult, but we managed it. It's again with force. I built this today just by ad hocing really, which is why my fire resist is so high and my cold resist is only just on par. It's a bit of a shame, but yeah, I probably could have done a better job if I'd built this from the ground up, knowing what I wanted to do long term. But that's what you get when you build a character and then you change the ideas and you change it again and you change it again and your ideas change, so you change it again and again and again. Yeah, it's been fun though. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting it done. It was absolute blast. Having fun with a character and really being able to build a character from almost the ground up, not really knowing where you were going. I've never really done that, really, not on the fly. But yeah, that's been absolutely great fun. We've got our plus chaos res modifier. I mean, the reses could be better. That is a tier 2, so we could get a few more on there. Not a great deal, probably. The problem is we've got unique. No res on there, so we're looking for res here, res here, res here. You've got 3 places to get res, and plus, if you're running the explode chest, that's just pot luck. You get no res on your boots. Your only reses are coming from your purity of elements, so I'll get more from the next 3 levels of purity of elements. So the res will go up, but it's the chaos res we're kind of concerned about. I mean, ideally you'd have a proper chaos res roll on the unset rings. That one doesn't have any. We've got the attributes on there and the regen. Now the regen life is, I suppose, okay. I'd much rather that be an open suffix for a chaos craft, or just be chaos res. But again, it's coming down to currency and what's available on the market. Without actually rolling it itself. Oh, excuse me. I apologise. It's quite late. I'm trying to switch my sleeping pattern ready for League Start. So that going on, I know it's a 27-minute odd video, so we are going now to do a map. We've got a Deli map somewhere. That's a T16. I'm not going to do that one on this build. It can do it, but that's a 60%. I'd rather not do a 60%. I'd rather do the 20. Pohx himself said it's not supposed to do high level. We need some more quality on that. And Alkit, what's we got on there? Rare monsters, fine. Cannot leech, fine. We don't anyway. Boss, fine. Nem, fine. Blind, fine. Energy shield, fine. That's all good. We can run that. Scarabs. Let's find some scarabs. Scarabs. What have we got? Abyss. No, that's going to be a pain. A breach. Yes, I love breach. So I have breach. No div cards. What's that? Elder Influence. No. Harbies. Why not? What's that? No more maps. Blight. I hate blight. Strong boxes could be good. Legion, no. Metamorph, why not? So we've got our scarabs. Not Nico. Strong boxes. There we go. Let's run that. I'm using rusted because I know I've got loads of them. We go into our map device. Throw in our map. We're not going to run a craft. We will have that on. And I do need Sulfite for standard because I've been leveling up my Saboteur in Delve. Let's go. Let's see how we do. Into the Curse Crypt. Oh god, this boss is going to one-shot me. Turn on our RF. Max out that. Get some map up. Frostblink. Ignore that. Frostblink through that lot. Turn on our... oh, and I've just leveled up my life tap. I wasn't supposed to. There goes the buffs from the Headhunter. Do not level that one up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to try and pick these. I've not used to using a Headhunter. Map buffs gains, yes, we'll do that one because we want currency. Oh wow, this is really hard to control. Please forgive the gameplay. It's me not being used to having a Headhunter. well, not using a Headhunter, I should say. I've never had a build that would work well with a Headhunter. I missed the self-chill stuff, so yeah. Malevolence has fallen off. I have no idea what the DPS is on this. I haven't looked at it. I haven't calculated it anywhere. I just built it again, majorly looking at going by comments that Pohx has said in his streams, what's on his POB, and again, credit due to credit given, or whatever the saying is. This is Pohx's build. I've just changed it significantly. Well, Balormage. I'll pop a link to his channel down below. Helped me via his Patreon to put the Aegis Auroa Melding Flesh version together, and from there I've just waited to get to standard because I wanted to test it with a Headhunter. I knew I had one in standard, so that's what I did. I don't have phasing on this character. Rip phasing on Abyss Jewels. I have got one, I just not using a Stitch belt, that's the other problem. Combat enemies on far, drop unique items. Oh, we'll go for the, what's it? Oh, there we go. I wondered why it wasn't dying. Turn Malevolence on. Malevolence actually lasts quite a long time. It's just I forget to look for it because it's not in somewhere where I can see it easily. Got to release the peeps out of the boxes. We'll pick that up. Malevolence has fallen off again. Let's open that. Oh, DD. Yoink. Don't know if I could possibly survive. I haven't even used my fire trap yet. This is all pure RF. Running, killing everything. Woof. Oh. This is why I can now play Headhunter build, because it's not stupidly tall. One of these days I will have a stupidly tall character, but that is multiple mirrors to get all the gear. Something killed me, I can't quite see, there's so much stuff going on. Thank you. Woof. The explosion of stuff. Let's pick all that up. Basic damage dropped by enemies, chance to be duplicated. All damage taken from hits can sap you. I'm immune to sap. We take that one for scarabs from the boss. There we go. Get Malevolence up again. Frostblink. Frostblink. There's a Harby in there somewhere. I'll just stand here, wait for it to die. Is it dead? Yep, there it goes. Break open those for more splinters around here. Activate my Quicksilver back through here. Frostblink. They all die. Grab the chest. Ice Nova. Again, I don't know if it could kill me. Why bother taking the chance? Oh, pick up that. Shrine. I want to make a build a Gull character at some point. I think it'd be quite fun. I'm expecting to die on this boss. Just because he's got that thing he spits out, which I very rarely can see. But now it's even less chance to see because of all the Deli stuff and etc. Frostblink through all that lot. Frostblink, just keep frostblinking. Oh, and there's a Harby in here as well. 2 Harbies, I think. I completely lost track. Well, I didn't die, so that's that thing. I think the boss is dead. No, he's not. He's there. Lay down some good old frost trap, fire traps. Get Malevolence going. It's going down slowly. Come on. He's gone up my... There he is. Bam. Have I got enough inventory space for all this lot? Apparently so. Pick up the shards. Pick up this. Come on. Let me pick it up. Thank you. Release those out of there. There's still more than 50 monsters. That's not 84. I don't want that. Right. Let's go and find some more monsters. There's some more somewhere. Crack open those. And kill them. Trying to get all the options for the metamorph as well. I think there was one. Yeah, there it is. Frost blink so we don't die. There we go. Right. Apparently I've got all the metamorph mods. Let's go. Let's see if we can be... Oh, not that one. See if we can get killed by the metamorph. Lay down some fire traps. See what happens. Malevolence is up. I'm bleeding. I'm impaled. Oh, well, that died. Yeah, I didn't think I could pick that up. See how much of this stuff we can pick up before... There we go. Yep. We are out of inventory space, apparently. Do I try and go and... Well, they're still saying there's 50 odd monsters, so I'd like to find out where they are. Oh, here, apparently. Boom, boom, boom. That was it. Didn't drop anything, so we haven't lost anything out. Oh, a splinter. There we go. That's that done. Completed Nico's mission, so yeah. There we go. Tier 16, 20% delirious map mod with all the... Well, you saw what I put in it, so let's just drop all this stuff off. Boom, 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 boom. Loads of scarabs, which I like. Map, scarab. Put that in there, pop that in there, pop that there. See what we get. I-85 basalt. Scour that. Might as well finish off qualitying it because it's already 7%. There we go. It goes in my flask tab. Bump. Add it to the pot. Bad. Corrupted. Low life. No movement speed. Bad. Corrupted. I hate corrupted things. Can't do anything with them. And bad. What eye level is it? 83. No, that's not worth it. Let's scan the map. That goes in. Tavian. Have some things. There we go. Oh, that stash tab is still too close. Back into the map. Pick up these bits. There we go. There we go. Now, I am not by any means a decent builder of characters, so there could be probably a ton of different ways of doing this to make the damage better, to get more out of it for the money you've put into it. A lot of the X spent on this build was spent in standard with highly inflated prices. If it was done in League, it would be a lot less. For example, most of the woke gems in standard have cost me between 5 to 10x per, whereas in League they were about 2 to 4 depending on level and quality. So you could probably save a ton of exalted orbs there. Plus this was brought as is rather than with the anoint and the catalysts, rather than buying a cheaper one and then using a mass amounts of divines to divine it, then blessing it, and then throwing on the anoint. Yeah, it's a great build. I love the version I've done. I'm not sure what I'll do next with it. Probably nothing. I'll wait for 3.18. Played that. I'm only going to be playing, heavily investing in one build, which will be the well, basically this character, and then eventually I will do. I'll test the low level heist, the 59 to 60 character, to see if that still works. I don't know if it will or not. Excuse me, I'm usually being in bed by now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a long one, but it just goes to show another variant of RF with Melding of the Flesh, Aegis Aurora, and all of the auras. I love using Herald of Ash because of the explosion. That's what we got it there for. Yeah, great build, great fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will not put out another one until a few days after league start, because basically we don't have time. I don't have time. You don't have time to be watching videos. You'd rather be playing. I'd rather be playing. So hopefully on Monday I'll come out with a video about where I am in league. But for now, I'm signing off. I'm gonna get some sleep, and I will see you in the next video.